Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on November the 5th, 2019. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. So in terms of our news that's coming up, we have RBA's statement. So overall, we know that Reserve Bank of Australia has not been hugely bullish, but lately they want to hold things as they are. So with the news or with the rate statement coming out, if they keep things as they are, that would be neutral for Australian dollar. But if they say that they're not looking to do any interest rate changes in the near future, that is actually positive for Australian dollar, and we could see Australian dollar go up. But if they say the opposite, where they're looking to cut rates, that would be negative for Australian dollar. So at this point, it's the interest rate is supposed to stay the same. So that's coming out in the Asian session here, starting in the morning here in the London session. Not a ton of data here. And we do have services PMI number for British pound. So if the number comes in above expectation, so we could see British pound go up, or if it comes in below expectations, we are likely to see British pound drop. So this number will be important, excuse me, for the British pound here. But the important data here is for our Canadian dollar here, the trade balance numbers. So Bank of Canada was not that positive for the Canadian dollar. We actually saw a drop in Canadian dollar after the Bank of Canada policy statement. So if the trade balance here comes in below expectations, we could see further weakness in Canadian dollar. So keep that in mind. But if the trade balance number is more than or higher, comes in higher than expected, that will be positive for Canadian dollar. So right now, we just need to see, because Canadian dollar is weaker, but positive data will strengthen it. So that would be beneficial for Canadian dollar. Then we also have ISM non-manufacturing PMI numbers here. The numbers that came in last week were negative, the PMI numbers. So if these numbers come in negative as well, that will have a negative impact on US dollar. We're likely to see US dollar drop, and other or the crosses, US dollar crosses, go up. So keep that in mind. The PMI numbers are very important because they're precursors, or they are leading indicators. So we need to pay attention to this. So here, this is likely to move the market here. And then we have employment numbers out of New Zealand here. And a drop in the numbers will be negative for New Zealand dollar. We also have monetary policy meeting minutes here for Japan. Monetary policy meeting minutes are important because it shows us what the central bank is thinking. So any kind of dovish tone here is likely to have a negative impact on Japanese yen. So that's what we need to keep in mind here. So let's take a look at our charts here. We'll start off by taking a look at our euro dollar here. We see a big drop here for euro today, and we have a nice bearish engulfing candle close here. We had talked about how if price does not break through the high, we're likely to see a drop here. So that's what we have. Now looking for price to drop here. So bias is bearish. And at this point, I would look for a potential pullback into 1.1150 potentially, and then looking for a drop from there. So bias is bearish, and this is sort of what I'm looking for. And in terms of our target here, the first target is 1.1100, and then second target is 1.1070, basically the bottom of this range. So price has been range bound for some time here, and as we can see, we have a rejection from the top of the range, and now we're looking for further drop. So looking for a move towards the bottom of the range. So bias here is bearish for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, pound is also bearish. We see a drop here. So here we have a nice drop for our pound dollar as well. So looking for a further move to the downside here. In terms of a pullback, we could get a pullback into 1.2920. So watch out for that. And then I would look for a drop. But this is a nice bearish candle here. So I'm looking for a pullback and a further drop. So here aiming for 1.2800, which is towards the support level here. And should price get through here, then we have a huge move up here that can then get retraced. But for now, we are looking for price to come into the support resistance level. This is where price has been held for quite some time here. And that's what we're looking for, a move towards that level. So bias here is bearish for pound dollar. And target is 1.2800. Aussie dollar here, this one is looking bearish as well. We have a nice bearish engulfing candle close. Price has been trading in a range here as well. And now we are into support. So we do need to be careful here. Bias is bearish though. And the next target here is 0.6850. And below that, we're looking at 0.6800. So bias here is bearish for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar, this is also looking bearish here. We have a nice bearish engulfing candle close. In this case, we could get a pullback into 0.6420. So watch out for the pullback, and then looking for a drop here. This one also got rejected at the top of the range. So looking for price to drop further towards the bottom of the range here. So this is where we have this previous support resistance. Price went and tested it, couldn't go through. So now we have a nice bearish setup here. So bias is bearish, target is 0.6320. Dollar CAD here, this one, we have seen price go back and forth here. So today we have a bit of a bullish candle close. Now it's not extremely bullish, so I would be cautious with this one. I would look for price to go back higher towards 1.3180, but what could happen is price could just get stuck below today's high here at 1.3160. So if price does not get through today's high, I would be cautious with this one, because then price is likely to drop further. We have this inefficient move that could get filled here, and price could drop here. So just like this, price went up and then came back and filled this entire range. So we could get a similar move. So watch out for that. It is slightly bullish here because of the bullish candle close, but I would be very cautious. But otherwise price could go towards 1.3180, but if it gets stuck below 1.3160, then we're likely to go lower here. So for now, we could get slightly more pullback, like I said, towards 1.3180, or even all the way into 1.3200. So watch out for this range essentially. But if it gets stuck below 1.3160, then we're looking for a drop. So right now, my bias is neutral for dollar CAD. Let's take a look at our commodities here, starting off with silver. We have a bearish candle close here, so we could see a further drop. Now, any comments for that are positive for the equity markets in regards to US and China trade relationships will be negative for our safe haven currencies, safe haven assets here. Silver and gold being those safe haven assets. So here we have a bearish candle close. So I would look for price to drop further towards 17.80. So bias here is bearish for silver today. And if it goes through 17.80, then we're looking at 17.56. So bearish bias for silver. Gold here, gold is bearish as well. We saw that price has rejected the high, so looking for it to drop further here. Next target is 1495, and then below that we are into 1479 again. So this has been trading in this range here. So it's rejected the high, so looking for price to move towards the middle. Okay, the next one is oil here. Oil, we are this one is a rejection. So we see that price went into this resistance at 57.40 here, and then it dropped from there. So that shows a rejection. What I would look for is a bit of a pullback towards 57, and if it stays below, so looking for the top of this pin here, and if it stays below, I would look for a drop here. So bias here is bearish, and target will be 55.50. So bearish bias here for oil. Copper here, copper is looking neutral here. And if it stays below today's high, I will look for a further drop towards 2.58. So neutral bias for copper, but this one could drop further. Looking at Bitcoin here, we did see that price is getting some support here. We have a bullish candle close, so I would look for price to go higher towards 97.25 here. So bullish bias for Bitcoin. S&P 500 here, this one is looking quite bullish. We are right into our all-time highs here. And at this point, momentum is slowing down, but price is still looking bullish. So the next target here is 3,100 and 3,120. But the thing is, if it doesn't hold above today's high, we could see price drop, because as we can see, today's candle doesn't have as much momentum as we saw on Friday. So watch out for this. We are all into all-time highs, but any positive comments from US and China trade negotiations are likely to push the markets further. So keep an eye on that. Bias is bullish. Next target is 3,100, then 3,120, but I would be cautious here. Nasdaq here, this one is also looking bullish. We are into 8,200. Price is still wanting to push forward here. Next target is 8,250 here. And then we are, and then I will look at 8,300. So bullish bias here for Nasdaq as well. The next one here, we have DAX here. DAX is looking bullish as well. Actually, before we go there, let me see if I can get Dow Jones here. Here we go. Just gonna bring it back here. Okay, so looking at our Dow Jones here, just take a quick look here. This one's looking bullish as well. We are again above the highs, so bias is bullish, but I would be cautious with this one here as well. Looking at 28,000 is the next target, but just be careful because things could turn. And then we are Footsie here. Footsie, it has broken through the top of the range here. We are into resistance, so watch out, but it is looking bullish, and this entire range could get filled now. Next target is 74.40, so bullish bias for Footsie. Nikkei looking quite bullish here. It's gone through the resistance here. Next target is 23,500. So bias is bullish. So we are looking at, actually, before we go all the way there, we do have 23,300 is the first target, and 23,500 is the second target. So bullish bias here for Nikkei as well. So that's all for today. You guys have a wonderful trading day, and I'll see you again tomorrow evening. Bye for now.